I'm gonna go over my bug out setup. Now, before I get into the bug out setup and what I have packed in here, I need to address a few nuances. Your bag is gonna be set up according to what you think is important. It's gonna be set up to what your environment is like. It's gonna be set up to the different situations that you're gonna deal with. For instance, it's super cold. I live up here. I live at 6,000 feet elevation up in the mountains. And so this setup right now, it's you'll see how it's more geared towards a heavy winter type of pack. This setup is gonna be geared for me. And let's get into it. So first off, as you can see, I got a bag full of my clothes, okay? Those are gonna be the clothes and boots and gloves. Let's go in here. I got a pair of 511 gloves inside of a pair of mittens. Those are gonna be my gloves. I'm gonna always have those. I need to put lanyards on those. And that's another thing. All your loose items, you should put a lanyard on it so you never lose it. I got my boots. They've been wax treated. Whole bunch of good stuff. I'll go over that in a second, but let's hop in here just to go over this pouch right here is pretty much my small survival kit. So if I ever get separated from my main kit, I can survive for just a smidgen off of this. Let's go into this real quick. So as you can see in this one, it's got a little bit of everything. This is just a scent deal. We got a little bit of cordage, got our multi-tool, we got a pair of a little bit of scissors, ibuprofen, allergy medicine, other medicines, multivitamins, good stuff like that. We got water purification. We've got a glow stick for signaling, night walking, whatever, ferro rod. In this pouch back here, we've got our water little bladder that comes with the Sawyer squeeze, or the Sawyer mini. And then up here is a small first aid kit. I have suture kit, I have blood clotting stuff. It's just your basic. Like I said, if I get separated from my main pack here, I'll at least be able to build shelter. It's also, I've got a tarp and trash bag, Mylar. And so that's just a mini one that goes right here on my hip. So that'll be always on me. Now going into the bag, this is just my preference. Some multicams. I got the knee pads in that joker. We've got our binos with a lanyard. So when we put our clothes on, we hook everything and we don't lose it. Got our jacket. I got thermal or wool socks, a pair of lighter socks. I got my knife, and then I got a couple different boonie caps, depending on what I want to go with. I got my Right in the Rain, and then most importantly, I've got a pocket Bible. I'm a religious man. I'm only here because God put me here, and so we got those Right in the Rain. That'll go in the pocket. And then let's see, I don't think we got anything else really. Oh wait, yeah. So when I do my lanyards, I recommend buying these S-Beaners, and I got this from Ivar Bergman, Survival Alaska. I highly recommend checking out his page if you want to learn about survival and escape and evasion. And then I got a few more socks and a neck gaiter. And so all that stuff will be on. I'll probably put a pair of socks on, and then the wool's on top of it if it's the winter. If it's not cold, I'll just go with the regular thin socks. Now you're probably wondering, what's this? This is my ghillie suit, okay? This is the one that I plan on taking with me. This is the, what do they call it? The poncho, the Stalker type of ghillie. It's just the one you drape over your shoulders and it goes down to a little bit past your butt. And then I've got the headpiece right here. And so this will be strapped to the pack when I leave. If I have to bail out, that's all this is going to be strapped to the pack. So where all I'm going to have to do is grab my pack, this pack, the boots are in the pack, and I'm ready to go, okay? So we're gonna get into it a little bit. So, okay, well, let's just show you real quick. Looks pretty. Anyways, so these boots, these are some Magnums. The reason why I go with these, because I've honestly had a pair of these. They're about 80 bucks. They're not expensive whatsoever, but if you take care of them and maintain them, I've had a pair of these last for over 2.5 years. And so what I did is I impregnated them with beeswax and candle wax to help with the waterproofing, because you do not want wet feet, okay? Now, let's go with the pack real quick. We're gonna talk about the pack. This is a medium-sized Alice. I bought this Alice pack at the thrift store for 10 bucks. It didn't come with a frame. I actually had a Kelty pack frame, okay, from an old school pack frame that I narrowed down, and I made it work for this pack. As you can see, the kidney strap and the kidney pad is a lot better than what you would get from your normal frame for one of these packs. Now it's just the old school. This is the original. This is like Vietnam era pack, okay? Behind here, I've got a 10 by 15 tarp. Okay, it's brown. I don't need to pull it out because you can see it. You know what a tarp is. On the side here, this is my first aid kit. I'll go over that in a minute. That's on the outside and that's ready to go. It's a quick release, so you can just pull that joker off when you get hurt and you're good to go. On the bottom, this is my sleeping system. It's got I think it's a 30-degree sleeping bag with a wool blanket in there. And for this condition in the shelter I build, that should be sufficient. You might get cold at night, but you'll survive. You're not going to freeze to death, unless you're an idiot. On the back part right here, this is so awesome. This pack came from Fieldline, and I built a little MOLLE, I guess you could call it. It's a MOLLE strap system that just connects to the outside of the pack. This is going to be all the stuff that I'm going to want to get to super quick, that I don't want to have to go in the bag and dig around for. And then on the outside, we've got our saw. One thing I forgot, give me a second. Okay, so usually this boy's axe, it's a 2.5 pound boy's axe. That's what they call it. It's perfect. You got to think, okay, if I'm having to leave, I'm never coming home, okay? If this laboratory up here in Los Alamos were to be threatened, I would be leaving my home and I'd never be coming back, pretty much, you know? And so I want to be ready. I want to have multiple ways to secure shelter, fire, tools, whatever might need, a hunting implement, whatever. An axe, in my personal perspective, can go so much farther than a saw. Plus, in my experience, an axe doesn't, you don't use as much energy using an axe, just in my opinion. So, there's that. And then, let's just go ahead and take a looky in this pouch real quick. So on our front pocket here, we're gonna have, I apologize, I forgot my tripod today. So we're getting real intimate. This is a headlamp. I keep it in a bag because this isn't waterproof. Just your basic headlight. Self-explanatory. I never really plan on using that because if it's you know, one of those situations where you're bailing, if we're going to war or whatever, you don't really want to be seen. But it's nice to have a lamp, you know. And then on this pouch right here, let's get into it. And see, it just folds open like that. How awesome is that? So up here, we've got our whistle. We've got a chapstick, lips for dog paws, for fire. We've got more water purification tablets. Earplugs. And then we've got medicine. I think that's all that's in there. We got a Jesus fish to keep us reminded of what it's really about. I've got some screws. Now I'll talk about these in just a second. Got a pin, another pin in case my right in the rain pin goes. I've got a stone. This is gonna help sharpen my knives and my axe. And then I've also got a little bitty diamond file, and that's gonna help with this to sharpen my little saw there. This is just a bunch of, it's a bicycle tube with wax paper and duct tape, fire starting kit, like help if everything's wet. Four more screws, and these are for, say, if you need to procure water out of a tree, or you need to connect something to a tree, something, building shelter, whatever you might need, just 4 screws that'll help you with that. I have these Alice clips, so if I find anything, I can clip extra things to my pack. This little goober right here, this is more, and you know, it's so funny to me. Everyone says, oh, you don't need a sewing kit, you don't need a sewing kit. I can't tell you how many times I've been out in the wild and, you know, camping or whatever, and I have actually utilized a sewing kit. I'd have put the gloves on, man, it's cold out today. Man, it's probably, I don't know, 30 degrees right now, and fingers are getting cold. But anyway, we get in here, we've got a little bit of aluminum foil. You never know when you might need that. We've got a decent amount of duct tape. We've got a glue stick, a Gorilla glue stick. We've got a roll of braided fishing line to help aid in sewing or fishing applications. Have a button. In here I have sewing needles and razor blades. And then I've got back there, if you can see them, I have extra safety pins. And then on the very bottom there, I actually have one of my old doctor bracelets, because if I die out in the wilderness and someone finds me 10 years later, they're gonna be able to identify me. And then in here we've got extra batteries and fire starting material. This is mainly batteries for the headlamp. In this tube right here, I have electrical tape wrapped around a tube, and inside of here are Vaseline impregnated cotton balls for fire starting, another glow stick, a knife sharpener when you don't have to get crazy. That, like, this is pretty nice. And then an extra pin for the frame in case one of the pins break. And finally, I've got the syringe, and yeah, I got the syringe, and back behind it is another pouch, or no, excuse me, the syringe to clean out the Sawyer mini filter, and that, the extra one is in my first aid kit right here. And then for my water bladder, I've got a few extra little mouth nozzles. So that pretty much concludes what's the loose items that I don't want to have in the rest of the pack. Okay, let's go ahead and take, real quick, we're just gonna take a look inside of the first aid kit. You just pop that clip off, and then you just, and she's out. America, baby. Okay, so in here we've got a little bit more wider variety of medical, like I said, this is my main medical kit. And there's a few things that I would like to add to it, but I'm pretty content with what I got. Extra AA batteries for a backup flashlight in here. I've got another Sawyer Mini with another plunger to help rinse it out. Ferro rod, another pocket knife. Let's stay up here real quick. For in this one we got banded triangular, but I also put in a fire extender, a candle. Back behind here, oh my goodness. Okay, so I've got magnifying glass. We could use this to start fire, look for splinters, yada yada. I've got another Sawyer bladder, little bladder deal. And behind here, another Mylar blanket, a little bit more aluminum foil, and a orange blanket for signaling. I got a little bit of cordage right there just in case we need it. Down here, we have just a makeshift tourniquet. You can wrap that around, try to stop the bleeding. That's one thing that I want to buy. I want to buy a legit tourniquet because that's one thing you don't want to skip on. Up here we've got little bitty things, needles, Q-tips, syringes, needles to go in that syringe if I need to relieve like for instance, one time I ruptured the bursa sac in my knee and I drained it myself. And you can do that. So more Q-tips, the strap. So say if I wanted to go on a little walk, I could just strap this to my body and I can have this with me at all times. Razor blade. So we're up here in the high desert. There's rattlesnakes, we have snakes, poisonous things. And so a lot of people say that these little syringes don't work, but you gotta be real. If I'm out in the wild and I can't get any medical attention, I wanna try as much as I can to get whatever poison out of me or my dog. So I've got one of those poison suckers that sucks the poison out, and I've got the adapters right here inside up here. I know if I get bit by a snake, I'm probably dead. I get that, but it's just I think it's more, it doesn't weigh anything, it just kind of takes up space, and it's more peace of mind. Obviously you need to be smart, don't be dumb, you know. Okay, and so here, this is one of those mouthpieces for giving mouth to mouth, you know, CPR. Another scissors, a pair of tweezers, a little bit of a roll of ace bandage, I guess you'd call it. And this one, this is one thing that I haven't seen anybody put in their first aid kit. Liquid Band-Aid, new skin. This stuff is awesome. It works on rashes. You can put it on anything. It stings like a mofo, but this is such a versatile, you can start fires with it. So versatile, okay? And it's antimicrobial, helps you avoid infection. There we go. I have more ibuprofen and some Benadryl in case if we have an allergic reaction to any maybe wild edibles. My dog has allergies like crazy, unfortunately, and so we've got that. And then last but not least, we got another roll of duct tape in case we need to light a fire, maybe make a fix on something. We got a little bit more chapstick. We live in the desert, so it's dry out here, you know. Chap lips aren't awesome. And then we've got some A&D to help repair any cuts or scrapes or wounds that we may have. It's really good to put on dog paws when we're walking through the snow so they protect their feet. That's good. And then in the back we just got all of our big bandages and so on and so forth. And so that pretty much so that's pretty much all of the medical kit. I see so many medical kits out there where people are planning to, you know, do operations on themselves in the field, and I'm just being realistic. I'm only putting in here things that I know how to use them, okay? So before I put this back up, any of you that might have this type of medical kit and want to adapt it, put it on to an Alice pack, I just wrapped it around the side here, and then I used an Alice clip, and I ran that top strap, excuse me, just around, and it works perfect. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna get on this side now. So this is gonna be my shelter side. This is gonna be everything for my shelter. All right, so on this guy, I didn't want all this stuff just kind of floating around. So I put it in just one bag. I pull it out, and then I can put all my little cordage. These are just little bitty loops. Maybe I need to use a different loop type of situation for my shelter. Maybe, you never know. Just got it all put together just on a carabiner. Little hanks of cordage, and then I've got a few of these tarp holders. These are actually, I never thought I'd use these, but these are absolutely incredible. And so if you've seen the original ones, they're not drilled out like this. And so I went ahead and I drilled them all out to lighten them up a little bit, and it doesn't affect the strength whatsoever. It just brought the weight down. And so if my tarp, like say an eyelet breaks on my tarp, I can, yeah, you can put earth like leaves or something in there, but this is going to ensure that it's not going to go, go anywhere. And that's just little bitty miscellaneous shelter items in that one. In here, a lot. So I'm letting out a lot of my little secrets right now, and I hope you guys appreciate it. This is a windshield cover that you put on your windshield during the winter. It wraps around on the outside of the windshield, and then it connects inside so where your windshield doesn't get ice on it. So for your bed system, your sleep system, you put this on top of your ground tarp, and then you put your sleeping bag or whatever on top of it. And actually, I have noticed how this will actually keep you a little bit warmer. It doesn't weigh anything at all. It's pretty cheap, and it's pretty, I'll be honest with you, this is probably one of the oldest things I've had that, as far as survival goes, and it's sturdy. And so you might want to think about it. It's the length of my body, and I'm about 5'10". Yeah, probably, you know, it's about 6 feet long. So think about that. If you want a thermal barrier to lay on, that'll help reflect the heat back to you. That's pretty cool. And then in there, the rest of it is just long hanks of paracord. I've got my rapid deploy ridgeline. I've got aluminum stakes, okay? I don't use, if I was rich, I'd have titanium, but they're not steel. And just the rest of it, I've got about 7 or 8 hanks of paracord. I'm not gonna pull those out. You know what cord looks like. In this one, in the middle, this is gonna be my food, a little bit of my food. All right, butt wipes. You're gonna have to deuce in the woods, okay? You need to stay clean. Get some wipes. And some liquid IV. You know, I feel like when I watched Grantham, here's a shout out to Grantham. Those dudes are awesome. I absolutely love those dudes. Watching him when he was talking about his bug out bag or whatever, or his setup when he goes out, how talk about butt wipes, liquid IVs, and I'm sitting there going, yes, yes, yes. All right, in that middle pack, this is, I've got 2 or 3, well, I've got, I think, 4 liquid IVs total. I got a bunch of different nature bars. I've got peanuts. We need carbs, okay? We're gonna be hiking and we're gonna be going through the mountains. Spam is excellent for when you're about to go to sleep in the winter. It's like seal oil, so much fat in it. It keeps you warm through the night. You eat about half of it before you go to sleep. If you wake up cold, eat the other half and you're gonna be warm all night. I've got some oysters, some more peanuts, Rice Krispie treats, some raisins, just a really good meal, okay? A few meals in there all together. Just in this pouch alone. Okay, in our final external pouch here, we've got more comfort items, I guess you could say. We got a pair of gaiters, I think that's what they're called. You wrap them around your boots so snow don't get in your shoes and whatnot. Those are awesome. Okay, this is probably one of the most important parts of this whole bug out bag, especially in extreme cold environments. This is your painter's drop cloth. So if you really needed to, you can build a Morskahansky super shelter. You're building basically a small greenhouse with a long fire outside, and you can sleep nice and toasty. I've built one of these, and it was about, I'd say, 9 degrees outside. And it was over 80 degrees on the interior of the shelter, and I was sitting in there sweating in my boxers. Never underestimate a 9x12 drop cloth. This could save your life, okay? We got Mylar blankets, space blankets, to go along with our super shelter. We've got, if I need to be more incognito, it's gonna be hard because of all this crap that I've got, but I could put this pack cover on. Part of me wishes it was camouflage, but on the contrary, if I'm walking, say, if I can't drive anywhere and I've got to leave on foot, I can throw this over the pack and everything, and it'll be more inconspicuous. Okay, it's just a pack cover. And then lastly, we've got some snips. You can't deny, if you're into ghillie suits, sniper, you know exactly what these are. You need to have these. Natural foliage, you can use these when you're building your bed. So many uses, okay? And so you don't ruin your other knives and stuff. Have a dedicated cutting tool for that. And that does it for that pouch. I guess I'll go ahead and show you. This is just your basic cutter. I'm not gonna pull it out. Yeah, you can use silkies, you can do all that. Is it necessary? No, not really. Just find a saw that works and take care of it, you know? It's pretty simple. I did go ahead and go kind of modify the strap system to accommodate for the sleeping bag. I went ahead and put buckles in instead of just using the regular strap setup, and that's fine. I gotta figure something out for the bottom. When we get to the sleep system, I'll show you what kind of slick stuff I did. But let's go ahead and get into the top pack. On the very top, I keep a rain poncho to try to help. Okay, hold on. In this pocket, upper pocket, we've got our maps, and we got some patches. Okay, patches, and the most important thing, okay, a lot of people don't take this into consideration. A lot of people don't think about taking pictures of their loved ones with them. I'm not going to show you mine, but that's one thing you need to take in consideration. If you're leaving and you're leaving everything behind, and you know this is going to be a survival situation, just having pictures of your loved ones can be the difference between life and death of you giving up. So don't take that for granted, and take it into consideration. So on the top, I have a tarp or a poncho to keep things wet and help aid in, you know, waterproof and whatnot. We've got our cook system. Okay, we got, it's just super simple, nothing crazy, just a small bowl. I don't know what you even call that. And then we got food in here. We got some ramen, super easy stuff. We got another can of Spam, more peanuts. Okay, so we can make the ramen and then cut the Spam up and put it into our ramen, and it's delicious. I stole that from Ivar Bergman, but he uses barbecue chicken, and I haven't been able to find any of that. So at the very top, I've got my Gore-Tex jacket. ACU, don't talk to me about it, I know. I have a sling bow I made. This is a slingshot that you can shoot arrows with, and I'll go over that more in a second. I have a bow saw, a blade. It's a 24-inch. I just used it, the piece of paracord, put it in there, and you don't even notice it. So those screws that I had in there, the 4 screws, that's what you use with this. You can make your own bow saw out in the woods, okay? We've got a couple other pouches in here. This is gonna be my game gathering, my hunting type of, and fishing pouch. In this little tube right here, I have arrow points, so where I can make arrows in the field. Snare wire, a buck knife, so I can do easy game cleaning. I mean, this joker will cut through, it's so sharp. Okay, how many of you seen one of these? This is a slingshot type of deal. I forgot, what is it called? The pocket shot. Okay, I've got 1/4 inch, or was it 3/16 inch BBs and 1/4 inch BBs in there as well. It's got some weight to it, but you think about small game that you can get with that, and it'll pay for itself. You can even shoot fish if you needed to. A small release for my sling bow. Okay. And then I've also got a regular slingshot. Try to get it. There we go. Got a regular slingshot with one of these red bands, and these are supposed to, like, these are a lot quicker band, and they last a lot longer than the original yellow ones. And then finally in here I've got my fishing kit. Hooks, lures, line wrapped around it. It's just your basic fishing kit. It's nothing fancy. I'm not going to get into that. And then in this next one, this is going to be our fire kit for the most part. We got a little mini stove in here. Got waterproof matches. We have just a Bic lighter, like a flint, with other flints, other flints wrapped around in there. So all you really need is cotton to light a fire. Okay. Magnesium stick, and then 4 candles for a flame extender, and just a little stove. We've got, this is one of those army, I forgot what you put in these. Flare, that's what, these are for flares. I couldn't remember what it was. So I got a flare, some zip ties, and a glow stick in there. A flare is so important. Last resort if you need to get a fire or signaling. I'm trying to do this real quick because the battery's about to die. A stainless steel water container so I can boil water. And lastly, I've got a mini shovel, Coleman shovel, just basic shovel with a pick on it. Gore-Tex. And in this main dry bag that I've got is the clothes, and this is where I save a lot more weight compared to other people because they put a lot of unnecessary items in here. Got a regular t-shirt, a neck gaiter, some socks, and a bandana. Some long johns. A microfiber beanie inside of I don't even know what kind of hat they'd call that, but an insulated hat. Two more pairs of wool socks, because you got to understand how much thermal regulation you can lose through your feet. If you get your feet wet and you put on 2 pairs of wool socks, you're gonna be set, okay? You can never underestimate how important your feet are. And lastly, I've got a few pairs of underwear. I have a, this is one of those Under Armour type of shirts that'll, it's a wicking. It's not gonna, this is probably, I probably wouldn't wear this as a base layer unless I absolutely had to. But if you're walking around doing a lot of moving, you put this on and it'll keep your sweat a little bit more under control. Just another base layer, okay? And then this is actually the down liner from an army jacket, okay? And so you can put this on. Basically, we're talking about layers now. We got this one, you know, the shirt that I'm gonna have on. You put this on top of our shirt, and then we put our Gore-Tex jacket on. That right there is gonna make you really, really warm, and you're gonna be set up. So, okay, lastly, before the battery dies, because she's about to go, boys, let's get under here. Oh, hold on, two more things. In this one, that's where I'm gonna be putting my water bladder, okay? And finally, so since I had that Kelty frame pack, I figured, I was like, well, shoot, let's just use those old straps from that pack and use it to hold the sleeping bag on. And it worked perfect. So we just put the sleeping bag, or the shoulder straps, connected them right there. And I just gotta make a bridge, you know, to hold those in together. I'm not gonna open this. You guys know what a sleeping bag is. You know what a wool blanket is. For that, what I do is I lay my sleeping bag out, and then I put my wool blanket inside of the sleeping bag. So I wrap that, I lay on top of one part of the wool blanket, put the other part of the wool blanket on, and then close the sleeping bag. So I'm just layering up. And so this setup right here, I've tested it thoroughly. I haven't been through every situation in the world, but through the majority of the situations that I've faced out in the wild, out in the forest, out in the, you know, the woods, you can accommodate yourself and you can do just fine with just the basic stuff, okay? Now, a lot of people will say, oh, why are you taking so many implements for hunting and gathering? Well, shoot, you know, food, you need to eat, you know, procuring food. So I plan on, but I'm gonna just tell you this until the battery dies. You know, if I go out in the wild and I find a place where I bug out to, I'm gonna start immediately. I'm gonna set up traps, figure 4 deadfalls or Paiute deadfalls, a bunch of snares, and while those are working, while I don't have to watch them, I can go out and look for more food. Okay, wild edibles. I can look for game. These give me options. Okay, I don't want to be out there wondering how I'm gonna be procuring food, coming across food, you know, like that's the last thing you want to be worried about in a survival situation. And so, and one thing that I didn't put in there, I'll put dog food in there for my boy. Woo woo. Hey, yeah, you fired up? Oh, hey, since we got a little bit of battery, check this coat out I made for him. Hey, get up, come here, get up. So I made this out of a pair of BDU, or no, ACU pants. Okay, sit. So stay. So you can tell that this is the ass pocket. Okay, and then this would be one of your front pockets. And you come back around, and then this is the crotch. And this is the other part of the pants. And so when we bug out, whether he likes it or not, he's gonna be carrying his own crap. And look at that thing. It reminds me of an old German World War II like jacket. You know what I'm saying? Hey, check this out. So look at me. Hey. Yeah, you see? How cool is that thing? Is that cool? You warm? Yep. So that's kind of the gist. That's how I feel about it. And like I said, every situation is different. If you're in Florida, you're not going to have to really worry about so many thermals, you know? I'm up here in the high desert, okay? And it's going to be a struggle. It will. When the hammer drops, it's going to be, the easiest way I can put it, the fittest man, you know? How do you put that? Only the strong survive? So my suggestion to you, right now, get one of these together and go out and practice it. If you don't practice what's in your bag, when the time comes, you're not going to know what you're going to be having to deal with, and what you need to do, how to deal with certain situations, and the correct knowledge. Knowledge is power. The moment you stop learning is the moment you start to fail. And I am not one of those guys that's going to lie to you, okay? I'm going to tell you the absolute truth, and I'm not going to try to sugarcoat anything, because this world has been sugar-coated over, and that's the reason why this world is the way it is. It's because too many people want to ignore the truth, okay? And so, if you got any questions, put them in the comments. If you hate my setup, put it in the comments, let me know. If you have anything that might help me, put it in the comments, let me know. You know, I'm not putting this out there to say, this is how you do it. If you don't do it this way, you're doing it wrong. No, that's bullshit, okay? Every setup is different for every person and your in particular needs.